Today we got another reaction. Meet the best player no one wanted. Obviously, you could tell from the thumbnail that this is about Cam Ward. So let's see what it's about.
Place you've probably never been, played for a school you've probably never heard of, and threw footballs for a team that wasn't known for throwing the football. No private quarterback coach, no Elite 11 camp, no media buzz, no stars next to his name.
Really?
That's what makes this story
Zero
special.
star?
Because despite all of that, or maybe even because of it, Cam Ward worked his way from obscurity to the very top of the NFL draft. Not because he was given anything, but because he earned it.
Okay.
We've always lived in West Columbia. I went to school in West Columbia, elementary through high school. Small town, everyone knows everyone.
Before the hype, before the headlines, Cam Ward was just a kid growing up in a small Texas town with big Friday night lights.
Probably a population of about 3,000 people.
West Columbia, a quiet community just an hour south of Houston. It lived and breathed football. And in the middle of all that was a young Cam, the youngest of four in a competitive household led by Calvin and Patrice Ward. Cam's high school career didn't begin with fireworks or viral highlights. He was lined up to start as a junior under head coach Brent Maschek, whose offense was the wing T. If you're not familiar, it's a run-heavy scheme.
No way.
Built to ground and pound. Not particularly known to showcase a quarterback with a rocket. But this wasn't about holding Cam back. Maschek had a stacked backfield, and the system played to their strengths. Cam wasn't discouraged though. He just adapted. His father, Calvin, who ran the same offense back in his day, pulled him aside and gave him a new lens to look through. He said, treat it like it's magic. The handoffs, the rollouts, the misdirection. Make the defense guess wrong every time. That mindset, it flipped the switch. Cam approached the game like a magician with the playbook, embedding creativity into the rigid structure of the wing T. He learned to hide the ball behind his hip, to sell fakes with his eyes, to turn deception into an art form. And even though he wasn't throwing for 30 times a game, the lesson stuck. To this day, those sleight of hand instincts are still baked into how he plays. The subtle head fakes, the delay before the deep shot, the patience in the pocket. Yeah, it all started here. However, by the end of his senior year, Cam was a zero-star recruit. Not a single ranking, not a single star next to his name. No offers from Blue Bloods, no late calls, just silence. But then, something shifted. At a recruiting camp in San Antonio, about 3 hours west of his hometown, Cam finally caught a break.
I had some big-time schools watch me throw the ball. Ended up having one offer, Incarnate Word.
A small FCS program barely on the national radar. Their head coach, Eric Morris, had once coached guys like Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech.
Damn.
So when Morris saw Cam spin the ball during the throwing session, it stopped him in his tracks. There was something there. Raw, yeah, but electric.
So I took that offer. Started off as a third string there. I had to work my way up.
John Copeland had already carved his name into the school's record books. A proven starter with back-to-back 3,000-yard seasons. The safe bet? Run it back with Copeland. Why risk it, right? But Cam wasn't interested in waiting around. Before he ever stepped foot on the campus, he made a promise to his dad. He was gonna win the job. And the moment he arrived on campus, he literally went straight to the head coach's office, walked in and said, I'm going to be the starting quarterback this year, and left. No debate, no bravado, just a quiet conviction. Quite honestly, it should have been a long shot. The team was barely practicing. Their 2020 season, like everybody else's, was mostly shut down by the COVID-19 pandemic. They were limited to 4 practices a week, and without real games, the depth chart seemed locked in place. But then, opportunity struck. Arkansas State, a Division I FBS program, reached out about playing a late season game in November. So, UIW accepted. Suddenly, they had a game to prep for. And Morris turned the opportunity into a quarterback competition. And that's all Cam needed. The team started to gravitate towards him. Day by day, he wasn't just earning the job, he was taking it over. Unfortunately though, the game against Arkansas never happened. A COVID outbreak hit the UIW roster the week of the trip, and the team never even got on the plane. But the decision had already been made. Cam Ward, that zero-star recruit no one wanted, was now the starting quarterback. Cam had gone from invisible to undeniable. In just 2 seasons, he transformed Incarnate Ward's offense into one of the most explosive in all of FCS. Over 4,600 yards passing and 47 total touchdowns in 2021 alone. His arm talent was undeniable. His poise under pressure, unshakable. And his story, just beginning. For Cam,
Those unis at University Incarnate Ward, is that how you say it? Bro, those shits are kind of tough. The red and white.
The original plan was to stay at UIW all 4 years, build something special, finish what he started. But that changed when Eric Morris, the coach who saw something in him when no one else did, accepted the offensive coordinator job at Washington State. It felt like a signal. So Cam entered the transfer portal, not just to follow Morris, but to see how far he could take this second chance. And unlike the last time he was on the recruiting trail, this time, a lot more people came calling.
Damn! He was behind Caleb Williams and Quinn Ewers? Okay, I didn't know he was like that hyped before he went to Florida.
15 programs, all big names, all offering starting roles, all suddenly seeing the talent that had been there all along. Even Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss made an aggressive push. The Wards were flown into Oxford and treated like royalty. The NIL offers were big, the spotlight even bigger. But Cam, he never forgot. He remembered the coaches who overlooked him, the empty inbox on signing day, the camps he wasn't invited to. And just as clearly, he remembered who did show up. Coach Eric Morris. Washington State couldn't match Ole Miss financially, not even close. But they had something else, loyalty. And for Cam, that meant more than money. So he packed his bags and followed his coach to Pullman, Washington, nearly 2,000 miles from home, to bet on the man who had bet on him first.
I didn't even know he went to Washington. I thought he just went to straight Florida after Incarnate Word.
By the time the 2023 season ended, Cam Ward had done everything Washington State could have asked, and then some.
Zone read and watch out for Ward. Green grass.
Ward got dripped though. I fuck with Ward.
In 2 seasons, he completed 65.5% of his passes for nearly 7,000 yards.
Damn.
Threw 48 touchdowns and ran for 13 more, and gave the Cougars national relevance they hadn't seen in years. He was dynamic, he was efficient, and he was still getting better. But now came the question that every college star eventually faces. Was it time to go pro?
We've gotten some clarity on the quarterback portal. Cam Ward moments ago on Instagram said he's declaring for the NFL draft. Now, I just spoke to his dad within the last 10 minutes. Calvin Ward, he told me...
I don't really watch too much college football. I want to get into it. But when he was at Washington, where would he have been picked? Because obviously we know he went to Florida, right? Where would he have been picked if he actually went through with declaring that season?
Son is not
Someone
going
let me
to
know in the
immediately
comments.
sign with an agent, which could give him the option to go back to college. He will start training with Will Hewlett, the quarterback trainer, tomorrow.
Cam believed the answer should have been yes. The 2024 NFL draft was loaded with quarterback talent. 6 of them went in the first 12 picks. And in his mind, he belonged in that group, top 10 even. But the NFL didn't quite see it the same way. Scouts told him he was more likely to land somewhere in the mid-rounds, maybe late day 2, maybe even day 3. It wasn't disrespect though, it was business. The league wanted to see more polish, more consistency, more control. And then, Miami called. The Hurricanes had talent, they had a national stage.
Oh,
they just needed
my fault. I kept saying Florida all video. I meant Miami Hurricanes. My bad.
a quarterback to tie everything together. Cam had 1 year of eligibility left, one more shot. Look, he could have declared, he could have left the chips where they fell, but that's never been his story. Cam's path has always been the long way around. So instead of chasing the draft, he chose one last stop, one last season, to leave no doubt.
Throw it for the first time, looks one way, back the other, lofts it over the middle, wide open man, it's Elijah Arroyo, one of those tight ends, and what a start for Miami.
Cam's season at Miami was nothing short of electric. He threw for 4,313 yards, breaking the school's single-season passing record. He added 39 touchdowns through the air, ran for 5, and led Miami to a 10-3 season, their best in years. He was named a Heisman finalist and won the Davey O'Brien Award as the top quarterback in college football.
Damn.
Cam would establish himself as the draft class's premier quarterback.
Because of the way he plays, he reminds me of Patrick. He reminds me of Mahomes, with how he can be unconventional, throw the football from all different kinds of weird angles, and then just put a bunch of horsepower on it when he needs to.
The added experience of the final college season helped, but Cam and his circle believed it was more about the bigger spotlight than anything else. However, Cam has been ready for the NFL. The world just finally woke up and realized it. So, on April 24th, 2025, the NFL world turned its attention to Nashville. The Titans held the #1 overall pick, not through a blockbuster trade or anything like that. Just the results of a rough season that ended with the franchise reset.
With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
So the expected is now official. And Cam Ward.
Oh, is that his coach?
And just like that, the best player no one cared about became the cornerstone of a franchise. Ward didn't come from a blue blood program. He didn't play in the college football playoff. But the Titans, they weren't interested in optics. They were interested in ability. And they saw in Cam Ward a quarterback with elite tools, poise, and the type of chip on his shoulder that could ignite a locker room. In a football world obsessed with hype, stars, social media followers, Cam Ward's rise reminds us that talent doesn't always come dressed in five-star packaging. He was overlooked because he didn't throw enough in high school, because he went to a school with a funny name, because he didn't have a Nike deal at 17, because he wasn't part of the machine. But Ward's game speaks louder than any billboard. He plays with a chip on his shoulder, not because he wants revenge, because he knows what it took to get here. Every snap is a statement. Every pass is proof. Now he's in Tennessee. This is Cam's team now. He'll have growing pains like all rookies do. But don't bet against this guy. Because if there's one thing we've learned about Cam Ward, is that he doesn't fold, he doesn't flinch, and he doesn't need your approval to become great. In fact, he thrives on it.
Hey, this is a good video. Hey, shout out another sports channel with this video. Hey, Cam Ward. I'm wishing him the best for Cam Ward. He looks solid. You know, I like the way he carries himself. Let me know if there's any other videos like this y'all want me to react to. Like this Lamar video. This look alright. Let me know.